Yo, what's good, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So sorry for not uploading the whole last week. COVID kind of came back with a vengeance. I was getting better, and then randomly it just hit me again, like a whole second wave of it. It's like I had it twice. Now, luckily, I'm feeling a lot better than I was a few days ago. I still have it, but I'm not nearly as bad as I was because I'm making a video. So yeah, that's good news. And also, I just finished some music that may or may not be coming out soon. So look out for that announcement. Follow me on Twitter at Luna with 2 A's and Instagram, only Luna. Or don't, I'll just announce it on here anyway. But anyway, today's story time is a pretty crazy one, pretty interesting one. I think you guys will really enjoy it. And let's just jump into this. So today's story time is about an old teacher of mine. Now this teacher, he wasn't my teacher for very long. I had him for about 3 months, and then he got fired. And I'm going to tell you about how it happened. So today's story time all starts off as a normal day in 2015. Now 2015 was one of my final years of high school. It's right before I dropped out. And things weren't going very good in my high school career. I was failing almost all of my classes. My mom was not very happy with me about my grades. But on the other hand, I was uploading a shit ton on my YouTube channel and being super productive on there. So that was growing a lot. And I was super stoked on that. So that was one good thing that I had going for me back then. But, I still had to go to school every day as much as I didn't want to. I couldn't quit yet. So I was just trying my hardest to graduate and get through it. So yeah, every day I would just kind of power through and go to school and count the minutes until I was out. And today's story time starts off like any other of those days. So I get up in the morning really early. I slept for about 2 or 3 hours. I was miserable as hell. I rolled out of bed, took a shower, ate some breakfast, got ready for my day, and got on the bus to school. Now we get to school. I walk in. I had 10 minutes to get my stuff from my locker and go to my first period. And I was just sitting in my locker, just dead inside, not looking happy. One of my friends walked up to me. He was like, "Dude, you look fucking terrible." I was like, "Thanks, man. That's really nice of you. Really appreciate that." He's like, "I'm just fucking with you, man. But seriously, did you sleep at all last night?" I was like, "No, not really." He's like, "Shit, dude. Well, I'll see you in fourth period. I just want to say hi." I'm like, "Thanks, man. Really appreciate the compliment early in the morning." He's like, "Anytime." And he turns around and he walks away. So fast forward, I get through my first 3 period, my first 3 classes. Those were normal, nothing out of the ordinary. And then I get to my fourth period class. Now, my fourth period class, I sat next to that friend I just spoke to earlier in the morning. And I was kind of excited about it because that was the one class where we didn't really have assigned seats. So I could sit next to my friend and we could just hang out and kind of just chill in class. So I get to fourth period. I sit down next to my friend. Let's just call his friend Kevin. I sit down next to Kevin. We're sitting there at our table and we're just catching up, talking because I hadn't spoke to him since early that morning when he told me I looked like shit. But after talking for a few minutes, the bell rang and everyone was told to get in their seats and stop talking. Me and Kevin were already sat down, so we just kind of stayed sitting there. And our teacher walks up to the front of the classroom. He's like, "All right, how's everyone doing today?" And we're all like, "Good." And at the time, this teacher, I didn't really know how to feel about him. Like I said earlier in the story, he'd only been teaching our class for about 3 months. He was relatively new to our school, so I couldn't really form an opinion on him just yet. Sometimes he was kind of strict, other times he was really cool. I didn't really have an opinion on him. He wasn't too strict, wasn't too cool. He was just kind of a very average teacher in my opinion. But my opinion on him changed after that day, okay? So he asks us how we're doing. We say good. He kind of starts talking, doing his lesson, teaching, doing his job. And then my friend, Kevin, stands up and asks him to go to the bathroom, to which my teacher declines his request in front of the entire class. And Kevin goes, "Really? I can't go?" And he goes, "No, sit back down in your seat, Kevin. You can go later." And he goes, "When's later? I have to go now." And the teacher goes, "I don't know when later is. Not now, though, okay? Sit down, please." And Kevin gets mad. Kevin's like, "Nah, dude, I have to pee right now. It's an emergency. Let me go." And the teacher goes, "Nope, it's not an emergency. I can tell by your body chemistry. You're fine. Sit down." Now, I don't really know what that's supposed to mean. I can tell by your body chemistry. I guess he wasn't jumping up and down, but still, he probably had to go if he was asking if he could go. So Kevin gets mad. He's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? My body chemistry? I have to go now. Let me go to the bathroom." And he's mad. He's almost yelling. And the teacher goes, "All right, Kevin, you just lost your bathroom privileges. You can't go in my class today. Wait till next period." Now, I definitely understood why the teacher was pissed. I'd be mad too if some kid was swearing in my face and, almost yelling at me. But at the same time, I also understood why Kevin was mad. It's really frustrating when you have to go to the bathroom and you need permission to do it. That's really frustrating. I've definitely had my fair share of arguments with teachers because they wouldn't let me go to the bathroom and I had to go. So, of course, Kevin does not back down. Kevin starts yelling at him even louder, arguing with him. They're going back and forth. And then Kevin, out of nowhere, just goes, "If you don't let me out right now to go to the bathroom, I'm going to get on your desk and I'm going to piss all over your work." Now everyone in the class kind of looks at each other after he says this in like just disbelief because nobody believed him, including me. I was like, hell no, he's not going to do that. Like, he'll ruin his whole high school career. He'll get expelled. And the whole room is just silent. Like, everybody's like waiting to see what's going to happen. And the teacher goes, no, you won't, Kevin. Go sit down. And Kevin goes, okay, I won't. Okay. And he jumps up on the teacher's desk and proceeds to start unzipping his pants and undoing his belt. And I am just sitting there in absolute shock. And so is the rest of the class. Like, everybody's like, what the fuck are we witnessing right now? But before Kevin could do the deed, our teacher goes, get the hell down from there, and grabs Kevin by the legs and pulls them. So Kevin falls flat on his face on the desk and just completely smashes his face into it. Now we're all really in disbelief because not only did Kevin just attempt to pee on the teacher's desk, but the teacher fucking grabbed his legs and smashed him down on the desk. Like, he could have just pushed him off and that would have been suffice, but he just straight went like WWE, grabbed him by the legs and took his ass down. Now Kevin immediately stands up and checks his nose and his mouth to see if he's bleeding. Luckily he wasn't, at least I didn't see any blood. And he was pissed. He immediately pushed our teacher back into one of the walls and goes, you want to fucking put your hands on me, motherfucker? Let's fight. Let's fight right now. And I'm just sitting there like, dude, what else is going to happen in this classroom? Like, in the span of 10 seconds, I just saw my friend try to pee on my teacher's desk. Then the teacher fucking WWE took his ass down, face first basically. And now they're about to fight. Like, what else can possibly unfold in this class right now? Like, my day wasn't even half over. What the fuck was going on? It was still the morning time. So after Kevin pushed my teacher into a wall, my teacher ran up to him and got into his face. And I was very worried at this point. I was like, I don't know what's about to happen, but it's not good. Now, luckily, someone in the class over heard all this commotion, heard the slamming on the desk, heard the yelling. So we get a knock on the classroom door, and I immediately jump up and I open the door. And it's the other teacher in the other classroom. She was a science teacher. And she's like, hey, Austin, like, what's going on in here? I was like, it's probably good that you showed up. And she walks in immediately because she knew something was wrong. And she goes, what's going on, guys? And she sees them in each other's faces. And she gets between them immediately and splits them up. And our teacher, the one that was about to fight Kevin, goes, get him out of my sight right now. Bring him up to the main office. And that's exactly what she did. That science teacher brought Kevin up to the main office. And Kevin was gone for the rest of the day. Now, I thought that was the end of the situation, right? Like, I thought that was it. Well, fast forward to the next day. I came into school. Kevin wasn't there because he was suspended. I hit him up after school and he told me he got suspended for a few days. So I didn't expect to see Kevin that day. But I did expect to see my teacher. I figured he wouldn't have gotten in trouble. But when I got to fourth period that day, my teacher was just gone. And I asked everybody there, I was like, where's the teacher at? And they're like, we don't know. And then I asked the substitute who was there that day. And he goes, yeah, your teacher probably won't be back for a while. I'll probably be your new teacher. And I was like, oh, is it because he's sick or something? And he's like, no, not because he's sick. As you know, there was a little bit of commotion in this class yesterday, and he got suspended. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, he got suspended indefinitely. And that basically means suspended until further notice. So if they never give him that notice, he's probably not coming back. And that's exactly what happened. For the rest of my high school career, I never saw that teacher there again. Even after I wasn't in school anymore, my friends that were still in school, that were graduating, never saw him there ever again. He basically just got fired. And I just still don't know how to feel about it to this day. Like, this teacher, man, I totally understand why he took my friend down, because the dude was about to pee on his work. But also, there probably was a better way than just straight up, slamming him on his face. He probably could have just, pushed him down, and that would have been suffice. But he grabbed him by the legs, so I guess he did assault a student. It was just an all-around shitty situation. My friend was definitely in the wrong for how bad he overreacted, and the teacher was also in the wrong for, hurting him. So just all in all, it was a fucked up, ridiculous, crazy, insane situation. But yeah, that's pretty much where that ends. A few days later, Kevin came back. He was unsuspended. But yeah, moral of this story is, just don't do any of the things you heard in this story time. Don't ever do what Kevin did. Don't do what the teacher did. Don't do anything in this story time. Don't do anything stupid you hear about in any story time for that matter. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much that. I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys out later. Peace.
Baby, I'm damaged. I cannot plan this. Won't you be mine and